Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Indy 500. And this is going to be an interesting video, so let's get right into it. So first of all, before I know like a lot of you, this was a kind of controversial finish, but let's just talk about the positives and all the highs from the event. So first of all, of course, Joseph Newgarden winning the 500 was awesome. I mean, Joseph Newgarden is a deserving winner. He's been fast all month. He's been wanting a fight. He's been so close to a 500. He's just never been able to get one. He got one. I think Joseph is 100%. No one can take this 500 away from him. He's 100% deserving. He worked so hard for this 500. There is no doubt in my mind, even amongst the controversy, which I'm going to talk about later on in the video. I think he 100% deserves this video. He drove amazing. I just think he's a deserving winner. He is one of the best IndyCar drivers in the series right now. Next up, let's talk about Graham Rahal. I'm going to discuss this briefly. You know, most people know the story already. Graham Rahal, unfortunately, did not qualify for the 500. He got out-qualified by his teammate, Jack Harvey. He was completely bummed out. And then there was the whole Stephen Wilson crash situation, which made it so Stephen Wilson couldn't compete. So then he managed to get into the 500. So then it was all good. And then at the start line, he couldn't, his car would not start. And then he was kind of like, I think he was 3 or 4 laps down. He had a pretty good day. I mean, he just kind of was slowly making his way out the field, you know, taking people off or crashed or just had incidents. And he was doing good. And then right into the race, he got like taken out or was involved in an incident. So I definitely think this is definitely going to be a month of May that he's just going to forget, and hopefully he can not relive anything like this. I just feel extremely bad for him. I mean, next up, I'm just going to briefly go through some of the highlights of some people who had good races. I think, of course, the person who came second had a fantastic. Marcus Ericsson almost won it, and we're going to talk about that later. And then, so Santino Ferrucci, that was amazing. That was an amazing race for AJ Foyt. I mean, they worked so hard for it, and they deserve it. I'm really happy they had a really good month, you know. I'm sure AJ's kind of had a rough month with his wife dying, and this has probably just been a really good high to kind of, you know, maybe I'm sure it was good for him. I'm sure he's been happy to see his team be so successful. So Alex Palou, again, he had an amazing race. I mean, he got caught up with a pit lane incident, and then somehow he managed to scrape himself to P4. Scott Dixon, it was the same situation where the Scott Dixon curse continued. And I'm sorry, Scott, it just seems something always happens to every single year. This time he had some weird vibration, and the vibration was really weird. I remember they showed on the onboard his wing was like messed up. I don't know if that was just vibration or just like the camera angle. It was really weird to see. But Callum Ilott had a fantastic race. I believe he qualified, I think was it P26, and then he managed to secure P12, what was just amazing. Again, that team worked extremely well. They're one of the lowest budget teams on the grid, and it's awesome to see small teams do well, and that just kind of really shows you why IndyCar is so great, because it doesn't require big budgets. It just requires a lot of teamwork and, you know, resilience. Another driver who did extremely well was Connor Daly. He did super well. Verena's VK did super well. Sato did extremely well too. Well, I kind of expected, but he's always really good at the 500, so it's awesome to see him up there. And then again, now I just want to press it. So now I'm going to be talking about the negative side / controversy to this race. And before I start this thing, I just want to stress this point again. I think Joseph Newgarden is 100% a deserving winner. He worked extremely hard. He deserves it. Nothing can take this away from him. But here we go with so let's just talk about the biggest thing, the red flags. What the heck? What is the red flags? I felt like the channel got switched over to NASCAR for a second, because there was a red flag. I'm fine with one red flag. It's like, okay, that's fine. There's clearly the need for a red flag. And then another red flag comes out, and it's like, okay, this is kind of getting a bit weird. And then another red flag comes out, and it's just like, this is just insane. This feels like an F1 race or a NASCAR race. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. You know, NASCAR can get away with restarting races because, you know, wrecks happen in NASCAR and everyone's fine. But IndyCar can't afford to have red flags. Red flags cause, red flags breed red flags. Yellows breed yellows. So the more yellows or the more red flags we had, the more chance of cautions there are. And it just ended in so much disaster because, like we seen with Pato O'Ward. He knew he was in a tough position. He could have won the 500. So he did a ballsy move trying to do something, and it ended in disaster. And I just don't think they need to not do the red flags. That red flag stuff is just insane. I don't know. This is just insane why they're doing the red flags. They need to stop that. They need to go back to finishing under caution, because I know everyone hates to see a race finishing under caution, but it kind of is what it is. I mean, it's happened historically throughout IndyCar, and it sucks, but it kind of, sometimes how it falls, and it is what it is. Next up, I want to briefly mention this, the scary tire incident, what was just freaky. Luckily, no one got hurt. The tire actually ended up hitting a car, which is way better than a human. So, I mean, if that hit a human, that would kill them instantly. That tire was flying. So that's kind of concerning, but maybe they can look at maybe preventing that happening in the future, but I don't know what they can do about that. Maybe make stronger tethers, but I don't know. And then next up, we're going to be talking about the problem IndyCar has with the aero right now. So they made some significant aero improvements in Indy and Texas, and the Texas upgrades did seem to work. The Texas race was a really good race. I think it was one of the best races they've had at Texas in a while. There was a lot of overtaking. They could follow each other, and it was overall great. But they did similar sort of upgrades at Indy, but it had a similar effect. The cars were able to follow each other. The speeds were up slightly more. The cornering speeds, there was a lot higher cornering speeds. I mean, of course, I love speed. That's the reason why everyone watches the Indy 500. Is just because it's just a spectacle about how fast they can go on the track. But here's the problem: the overtaking was not improved. They could follow each other, but when it came to overtaking, there was a few notable cases. Like one of the most notable cases was Pato O'Ward, where he tried to overtake, I think it was Marcus Ericsson, and basically the dirty air just kind of slid over. I'm not like an aero expert, but from what I understand as a fan, like the dirty air brushed over his wing. He lost all downforce and he was done. He spun into the wall and it caused a disaster. And he wasn't the only case. There was a few other guys that had bad crashes like that. So I think there needs to be some changes. I think Benjamin Peterson was another guy where Graham was trying to overtake him, or he was trying to overtake Graham. I can't remember which one it is now, but he had the same effect where the other car was there, and then there was the weird dirty air just took the air off his wing, and he span into the wall. And it's just freaky. I mean, it's like, this isn't NASCAR. I mean, I don't know how many people are NASCAR fans that watch Indy, but we don't like crashes in Indy. I mean, crashes are terrifying. I mean, when I seen some of them crashes, I was like, I hope Pato is okay. That was incredibly scary. I mean, the speeds that they're going, it's just insane. Indy needs to do something with the aero packaging. I think they really need to do a lot of testing and really figure out how they can prevent this dirty air issue. And I mean, maybe they could take a book out. I know they don't. F1 isn't necessarily the best benchmark, but F1 has introduced the new ground effect, which I'm not an aero expert, but according to F1, the ground effect is meant to eliminate some of the dirty air. So maybe IndyCar can maybe look into maybe working out some ground effect cars. Maybe that would help it, but I don't really know. We'll have to see what they do. There is going to be improvements next year with the hybrid system, so maybe that's going to be involved in it, but who knows. This was another big controversy for me. I don't think this is necessarily a new garden issue. I think it's just a precedent that IndyCar has set. For some reason, I don't get it, because like, for example, on the road courses, if you weave, that's against the rules because it's called blocking. But on the ovals, you're allowed to weave, and I guess the reason they weave is to break the toe. But they're not just breaking the toe. They're going, like you've seen, if you watched it, I will show a clip on screen. Joseph Newgarden and Marcus Ericsson went under the white line, and Marcus Ericsson was just following Newgarden. They went under the white line, basically in pit road, and then they swerved back onto the road. I mean, not that I don't know if this would necessarily happen, but I'm sure they have a lot of car control. They were so close to that pit wall. I mean, I'm just imagining someone hitting that pit wall on board one day, and that's going to be a head-on collision. I'm just saying that is a disaster waiting to happen. IndyCar needs to fix that. I don't know why they haven't. And then, so finally, so this was definitely a really controversial. This kind of gives me, 2002 vibes or 1981 vibes. I think they need to just not red flag it. Like I read an article and it was saying this race was the fourth closest Indy 500 in the history of Indy 500, which is like, okay, that's a true fact, but no, it's the fourth fastest because it was completely manufactured. There's nothing true to this. This feels like F1 Abu Dhabi situation. I mean, the whole one lap shootout, it was a manufactured finish, and I'm sorry Joseph has to have an asterisk next to his only win. I mean, it sucks for him. I do feel for him, but this is it. IndyCar needs to maybe do some more rule implements or just not do this whole one lap shootout NASCAR restart situation. Okay, so that's gonna be about it for this video. Sorry a lot of this video was basically me ranting about just the improvements IndyCar needs to make, but I think overall this race was a pretty good race. I really enjoyed the race. It was fun. I mean, the last I guess the hour it took them to get through the last 18 laps was kind of just like, oh my god, is this over yet? Like, it was just insane. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. They can maybe just improve it. But overall, I think the race was a good race. I enjoyed it. So tell me what you guys think about. Am I wrong about any of the stuff? Do you agree with any of the points? Did I miss any points? I may have missed stuff because obviously it was a long race. I couldn't include absolutely everything, but that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And put your opinion in the race down below. I'll try to respond to all of them. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.